A Canada Company Guide, No Websites. Chapter 1. Some Canadian companies, no websites. List of some Canadian companies, no websites. General. ADF Group Inc. Alcoa Canada. BCE Inc. Bombardier Inc. Canadian National Railway Company. Canadian Tire Corporation, Limited. Cara Operations Limited. Cargill Limited. CH2M Hill Canada Limited. CNW Group Ltd. Dow Chemical Canada ULC. Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts. General Motors of Canada Limited. Glencore Canada Corporation. Gold Corp Inc. Hydro-Quebec. Life Labs Medical Laboratory Services. Manulife Financial Corporation. McCormick Canada Co. Medtronic of Canada Ltd. Merck Canada Inc. Meridian Credit Union Limited. Morneau Sheppel Inc. Nixans North America. Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. Open Text Corporation. Otis Canada Incorporated. PCL Group of Companies. Penn West Petroleum Ltd. Pratt & Whitney Canada Corp. Redpath Sugar Ltd. Royal Bank of Canada. SNC-Lavalin Group Inc. Statoil Canada Ltd. Tembec Inc. Transcontinental Inc. Energy. 49 North Resources Inc. Conacher Oil and Gas Limited. Genex Inc. Focus on mineral exploration and development. 49 North Resources Inc. Abacus Mining and Exploration Corporation. Abe Resources Inc. Aben Resources Ltd. Aquila Resources Inc. Arco Resources Corp. Asinco Gold Inc. Avanti Mining Inc. Benton Resources Inc. Cadillac Ventures Inc. Columbia Crest Gold Corp. Cypress Development Corp. Dieter Gold Corporation. Focus Graphite Inc. Geologix Explorations Inc. Gaspeg Copper Resources Inc. Gold Bullion Development Corp. Gold Quest Mining Corp. Graphoid Inc. Great Western Minerals Group Ltd. Guyana Goldfields Inc. Happy Creek Minerals Ltd. Hard Creek Nickel Corporation. INV Metals Inc. Lorion Mineral Exploration Inc. Legend Gold Corp. Marathon Gold Corporation. Metals Creek Resources Corporation. Metanor Resources Inc. Monument Mining Ltd. MPH Ventures Corp. New Pacific Metals Corp. Northern Gold Mining Inc. Northern Superior Resources Inc. Orezone Gold Corporation. Palangio Exploration Inc. Playfair Mining Ltd. Precipitate Gold Corp. Premier Gold Mines Limited. Premium Exploration Inc. Red Star Gold Corp. Royal Nickel Corporation. Silverfields Resources Inc. Sky Harbor Resources Ltd. Sultan Minerals Inc. 3 Gold Resources Inc. Tinker Resources Limited. True North Gems Inc. Victory Nickel Inc. VMS Ventures Inc. Western Copper and Gold Corporation. Wolfden Resources Corporation. Yellowhead Mining Inc. Mining. Alhambra Resources Ltd. Capstone Mining Corp. Copper Mountain Mining Corporation. Great Panther Silver Limited. MDN Inc. New Gold Inc. Richmond Mines Inc. Rochester Resources Ltd. San Gold Corporation. Spartan Resources Inc. TVI Pacific Inc. Varies Gold Corp. Canadian Utility Company websites. nfpower.nf.ca, newfoundlandpower.aec.ca, albertaenergycompany.ewu.bchydro.bc.ca, bchydro.bctl.com, btel advancedcommunications.bell.ca, bellcanada.cul.ca, Canadian Utilities Limited.rogers.com, Rogers Communications Incorporated. nspower.ca. Chapter 2. A list of Canada company and NGO websites at canadian-universities.net/employment/profiles/index.html. Click on their list of companies to get its website. Abilis. Ability Society. Aboriginal Family Service Centre. Ad Canadian Inc. ADGA Group Consultants Inc. AGAT Laboratories. Agency for Cooperative Housing. Agricultural Manufacturers of Canada. Atsic Native Art Gallery. Ale Partners. Air Show Ottawa Inc. Alberta Biodiversity Monitoring Institute. Alberta Advanced Education and Technology. Alexander College. Alparoof Trusses Inc. Altafab Structures Ltd. Aquapura Water Products. Archipelago Marine Research Ltd. Arctic Digital Ltd. ArtistSite. Atkinson Implements. AutoVision Wireless Inc. Avalon Retirement Center Yarlett Health Services. Avia West Resorts Incorporated. Axiom Group Inc. Azarus. Baker's Narrows Lodge. Barrick Gold Corporation. Bayshore Home Health. BC Centre for Elder Advocacy and Support. Bental Capital LP. Berlitz Canada. Better Living. Better Environmentally Sound Transportation. Blockbuster Canada. Bodo Archaeological Society. Baucor Realty. Brandon Street Community Development Foundation. Bridgepoint Health. Building Insight Technologies Inc. Calgary Scientific. Cambridge Spine and Sport. Cameco Corporation. Canada Broker Link Inc. Canada Green Building Council. Canadian Forces Personnel Support Agency, CFSA. Canadian Blood Services. Canadian Red Cross Community Health Services. Canadian Forces Housing Agency. Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation, BC/Yukon Region. Canadian Organization/Companies Type. Canadian Cancer Society. Canadian Deaf Blind and Rubella Association. Can-Am Protection Group Inc. Candevcan Limited. Canterbury Foundation. Canucks Autism Network. Capital Engineering. Caramana Friedberg LLP. Carbide.ca. CarQuest Canada Ltd. Castle Rock Research. Catholic Social Services. Centretown Community Health Centre. CIM. Cimarron Engineering Ltd. City of Vancouver. City of Greater Sudbury, Legal Department. City of Lethbridge. City of Winnipeg. City of Vancouver, Development Services. Classroom Complete Press. Cochrane Temiskaming Children's Treatment Center. Comaplex Minerals Corp. Comcare Health Services. Community Living Newmarket/Aurora District. Connect Equipment Corporation. Cope, Barrett Certified General Accountants. Courtney's Wholesale. Cove Mortgage Ltd. Cowater International Inc. CPI Corp. Creston Valley Wildlife Management Area. Crisis Response Services. Cyber Seniors. Dalhousie University, Novel Tech Ethics. Dan Pucher, Travel Medical Insurance Broker. Davidson Lawyers LLP. Deluxe Gallery Inc. Dementia Guide Inc. Descartes Systems Group. Devon Greenhouses. Distress Centers of Toronto. Distributal Communications Limited. DMI Peace River Pulp Division. DND, 728 Communication Squadron. Ducks Unlimited Canada. East Coast Music Association. Ecofish Research Ltd. Elspeth Hayworth Center for Women. Engineering Seismology Group, ESG. Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Aramosa Engineering Inc. Far East Watch Case Ltd. Fashion Edition 14+. Fasken Martinu Dumoulin LLP. Fastenal. Ferns Heating. Philomat Composites. Fineline. Finewood Flooring and Lumber Limited. Finishing Touch Landscapes. Fisheries and Oceans Canada. Foot Locker, Seven Oaks. Foothills Forest Products. G.A.P Adventures. G4S Cash Services Canada. Genivar. Jeffrey W. White Law Corporation. Geoma. Global Angel Charity. Gobi Industries Inc. Gollagers Travel Plus. Good Life Fitness. Grande Cash Coal Corporation. Great Northern Insulation. Greg's Contracting Services Ltd. Group Dynamite. Halliburton Forest and Wildlife Reserve. Halifax Student Alliance. HDR Incorporated. Healthcare Relocations. Heritage Dex Ltd. Hewitt Material Handling Inc. Hold Business Immigration Law. Homestead Christian Care. Horizon School Division No. 205. ICUC Moderation Services Inc. Immensity United Canada. IMW Industries Ltd. IND Eco Strategic Consulting. Independent Counseling Enterprises. Industrial Process Technologies, Inpertech Incorporated. Infrared Pavement Repair Corporation. Ingenieus Engineering. Institute of Ocean Sciences. International Performance Management Institute. Investors Group Financial Services Incorporated, Toronto Midtown. Investors Group, Saskatchewan Southeast Region. Investors Group, Roy O'Leary, Division Director. Investors Group Financial Services Incorporated, Fredericton. IslandNet.com. ISTA Inc. JFL Media. Johnston Canyon Resort. Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. K-Line Trailers Ltd. Katimavik. Kawartha Halliburton Children's Aid Society. Kelowna Flight Craft. Kids Now. Craft Canada Inc. Lafarge Canada Inc. LE Portage. Learning Disabilities Association of Alberta. Legacy Computers. Let's Go Out.ca Inc. LifeScan Canada Ltd. Liquor Depot/Liquor Barn. Little Bits Therapeutic Riding Association. LVM Naylor. Mad Science of Montreal. Magenta Studio Photo. Mamauswan, North Shore Tribal Council. Manu Life Securities. Marcus Evans International. Mark's Work Warehouse. Masaryk Memorial Institute Inc. Match Marketing. Me to We. MediChair, Nanaimo. Medicis Health Group. Melcher Media and Design. Mike Weigel Helicopter Skiing. Milford Bistro. Mill Cove Nursing Home. Momentous.ca. Mosquito Control Inc. MSP. Multiple Sclerosis Society of Canada. Multiple Sclerosis Society of Canada, Alberta Division. Muscular Dystrophy Canada. NetKinetic, Inc. News West Inc. Niagara Vinegar Company. NIMBY Pest Management. Noonan Hewson Law Office. Northern Lights Health Region. Northern Computer Services. Northwood Care Inc. Navaco Child Care Center. Nurse Next Door Home Health Care Services. Oberdavish Law. One Change. Onondaga Camp. Ontario Pioneer Camp. Optimum Dental Group. Oxfam Canada. Oxford Seminars International Inc. PW. Garden Care. Pacific Safety Products Inc. Pacific Salmon Foundation. Paladin Security. Paladin Security Group Ltd. Palliser Regional Library System. Parkin Architects Limited. Party Packagers. Peel Pest Control. Pillar Resource Services Inc. Pine River Institute. Pizza Limited. President's Choice Financial, CIBC. Prince Albert Parkland Health Region. Profiles and Job Postings. Protector Security Systems and Locksmiths. Quality Classrooms. Quicksilver Canada. Quiet Waste Solutions. R. Rinaldi Welding Ltd. RCS Energy Services Ltd. Region of Waterloo. Reliance Protectron. Riscom Inc. Respect Group Inc. Revolution Distribution and Repair. Ritchie Brothers. Auctioneers. Rocky Mountain Bed and Breakfast. Rosa Flora Ltd. Rose City Ford Sales Limited. Royal Forest Pest Control Toronto. Royal LaPage Relocation Services. S. Burnett and Associates. Sabre Rentals. St. Elizabeth Healthcare. Sandcastle Park Children's Center. Sandy Beach Lodge and Resort. Sangra Mahler LLP Barristers and Solicitors. SASK Power. Savannah Energy Services. School District Number 22, Vernon. Scotia Recycling Ltd. Scotian Halibut Limited. STI Marketing. Sedum Master Inc. Selkirk College. Sensors Quality Management. Sercoda, Drive Test. Serenity Valley Inc. Sienna Design Inc. Silver Creek Guest Ranch. Silverback Fishing Adventures Incorporated, Hanena Lodge. Soho VFX. Solutions, your organized living store. Songhees First Nation. St. Albans Boys and Girls Club. St. John Ambulance, Kingston Branch. St. Joseph's Villa of Sudbury. St. Joaquin Manor. Staples Advantage. Staples Business Depot. Starline Architectural Windows Ltd. State Farm Insurance and Financial Services, Simon Garner. Sterling Woodworks. Studio Zen. Sweet Service Dry Cleaning. Summerhill Group. Sun Center of Excellence for Visual Genomics. Syndicate Mortgages Inc. Zemplinski Law Offices. Taylor Flooring Ltd. Teasdale Consultants Ltd. TELUS World of Science, Edmonton. The Japan Exchange and Teaching, JET, Program, Canada. The Black Velvet Distilling Company. The Odyssey Program/LE Program Odyssey. The Lung Association, Alberta, and NWT. The Alex Community Health Center. Tilcon Software Ltd. Tim Hortons Ottawa Dragon Boat Festival. Tireland Performance Center. Tomco Industrial Ltd. Toromont Energy Systems Inc. Touch Up in a Flash Inc. Town of Oxbow. Town of Gravelbourg. Trader Corporation. Treaty 8 Tribal Association. Triac Resources Ltd. Trojan 1. TWS Engineering Ltd. U-Haul. United Active Living Inc. United Safety Ltd. United Way of the Fraser Valley. Universal Freight and Transportation Inc. University College of the North. University of Saskatchewan Department of Psychiatry. Urbane Soft Technologies Inc. Urban Immersive Inc. Vancam Freightways Ltd. Vic Van Isle Construction Ltd. Wabash MFG Inc. Welcome in Community Center. Wessa Group Inc. Westburn Electric Supply. West Coast Wild Adventures Ltd. Western Canoeing and Kayaking. Windsor Essex Children's Aid Society. Wine Lake Camp. Woodbine Entertainment Group. Woodstone Residence. Workers' Safety and Compensation Commission of NWT and Nunavut. YMCA. York University. Youth Assisting Youth. Chapter 3. Canada's Best Employers at Forbes.com/Canada-Best-Employers, no websites. A&W Restaurants, Restaurants North Vancouver, British Columbia. ABB, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology Hardware and Equipment Saint Laurent, Quebec. Accenture, Consulting and Accounting Calgary, Alberta. Axio Solutions, IT, Internet, Software and Services Montreal, Quebec. Accor Hotels, Travel and Leisure Mississauga, Ontario. Adidas, Clothing Woodbridge, Ontario. Ecom, Consulting and Accounting, Los Angeles, California. Econ Group, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals, Toronto, Ontario. Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, Government Services, Ottawa, Ontario. Agropur, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco, St. Hubert, Quebec. Air Transat, Transportation and Logistics, Montreal, Quebec. Air Canada, Transportation and Logistics, Montreal, Quebec. Alberta Health Services, Healthcare, Edmonton, Alberta. Alberta Blue Cross, Insurances, Edmonton, Alberta. Algonquin College of Applied Arts and Technology, Education, Ottawa, Ontario. Allianz, Insurances, Cambridge, Ontario. Amazon, Retail and Wholesale, Toronto, Ontario. AMD, Canada, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology, Hardware and Equipment, Markham, Ontario. American Express, Banking and Financial Services, Markham, Ontario. Apple, IT, Internet, Software and Services, Toronto, Ontario. ArcelorMittal Dofasco, Engineering, Manufacturing, Hamilton, Ontario. Avis Budget Group, Travel and Leisure, Grande Prairie, Alberta. Aviva, Insurances, Markham, Ontario. Bank of Canada, Banking and Financial Services, Ottawa, Ontario. Bayer, Drugs and Biotechnology, Mississauga, Ontario. BC Hydro, Utilities, Vancouver, British Columbia. Bell Textron Canada, Aerospace and Defense, Mirabel, Quebec. Best Western International, Hotels, Restaurants and Leisure. BMO Financial Group, Banking and Financial Services, Montreal, Quebec. BMW Group, Automotive and Suppliers, Richmond Hill, Ontario. Boeing, Aerospace and Defense, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Booster Juice, Restaurants, Edmonton, Alberta. Boston Pizza, Restaurants, Edmonton, Alberta. Brown's Shoes, Clothing, St. Laurent, Quebec. Bruce Power, Utilities, Tiverton, Ontario. Business Development Bank of Canada, Banking and Financial Services, Montreal, Quebec. Cactus Club Cafe, Restaurants, Vancouver, British Columbia. Cambridge Memorial Hospital, Healthcare, Cambridge, Ontario. Canada Border Services Agency, Government Services, Ottawa, Ontario. Canada Revenue Agency, Government Services, Ottawa, Ontario. Canada Life, Insurance, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Canada Cartage, Transportation and Logistics, Mississauga, Ontario. Canadian Natural Resources, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals, Calgary, Alberta. Canadian Pacific Railway, Transportation and Logistics, Calgary, Alberta. Canadian Tire, Retail and Wholesale, Toronto, Ontario. Canadian Mental Health Association, Healthcare, Toronto, Ontario. Canadian National Railway, Transportation and Logistics, Montreal, Quebec. Canon, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology, Hardware and Equipment, Brampton, Ontario. Carter's, Clothing, Mississauga, Ontario. CBC/Radio Canada, Media and Advertising, Ottawa, Ontario. Cenovus Energy, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals, Calgary, Alberta. Centre Hospitalier de l'Université de Montréal, Healthcare, Montreal, Quebec. Centre Hospitalier Universitaire de Sherbrooke, CHUS, Healthcare, Sherbrooke, Quebec. Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, CHIO, Healthcare, Ottawa, Ontario. CIBC, Banking and Financial Services, Toronto, Ontario. CIMA Plus, Engineering, Manufacturing, Laval, Quebec. Cineplex, Travel and Leisure, Toronto, Ontario. Cisco Systems, IT, Internet, Software and Services, Toronto, Ontario. City of Brampton, Government Services Brampton, Ontario. City of Mississauga, Government Services Mississauga, Ontario. City of Toronto, Government Services Toronto, Ontario. City of Vancouver, Government Services Vancouver, British Columbia. City of Markham, Government Services Markham, Ontario. City of Calgary, Government Services Calgary, Alberta. City of Ottawa, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Coca-Cola Bottling Limited, Canada, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol, and Tobacco Toronto, Ontario. Concordia University, Education Montreal, Quebec. ConocoPhillips, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Calgary, Alberta. Chorus Entertainment Inc., Media and Advertising Toronto, Ontario. Costco Wholesale, Retail and Wholesale Ottawa, Ontario. Courts Administration Service, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Crossmark, Packaged Goods Mississauga, Ontario. Dalhousie University, Education Halifax, Nova Scotia. Dana, Automotive, Automotive and Suppliers, Cambridge, Ontario. Deere and Company, Engineering, Manufacturing Grimsby, Ontario. Dell Canada, IT, Internet, Software and Services North York, Ontario. Deloitte, Consulting and Accounting Toronto, Ontario. Desjardins, Banking and Financial Services Levis, Quebec. DHL, Transportation and Logistics Brampton, Ontario. Douglas College, Education New Westminster, British Columbia. Durham College of Applied Arts and Technology, Education Oshawa, Ontario. Electronic Arts, Media and Advertising Burnaby, British Columbia. Employment and Social Development Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Travel and Leisure Scarborough, Ontario. Environment and Climate Change Canada, Government Services Gatineau, Quebec. Epcor Utilities, Utilities Edmonton, Alberta. Ericsson, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology Hardware and Equipment Mississauga, Ontario. Export Development Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. EY Canada, Consulting and Accounting Toronto, Ontario. FedEx, Transportation and Logistics Mississauga, Ontario. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, Automotive, Automotive and Suppliers, Windsor, Ontario. Fidelity Investments, Banking and Financial Services Toronto, Ontario. Fisheries and Oceans Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Foot Locker, Clothing Toronto, Ontario. Ford Motor, Automotive, Automotive and Suppliers, Oakville, Ontario. Fortis, Canada, Utilities St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts, Travel and Leisure Toronto, Ontario. Fraser Health, Healthcare Surrey, British Columbia. Fujitsu, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology Hardware and Equipment San Jose, California. General Electric, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology Hardware and Equipment Mississauga, Ontario. General Motors, Automotive, Automotive and Suppliers, Oshawa, Ontario. General Dynamics, Aerospace and Defence London, Ontario, Ottawa, Ontario, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Gilead Sciences, Drugs and Biotechnology Edmonton, Alberta. GlaxoSmithKline, Drugs and Biotechnology Mississauga, Ontario. Global Affairs Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Canada. Google, IT, Internet, Software and Services Toronto, Ontario. Gordon Food Service, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Toronto, Ontario. Government of Ontario, Government Services Toronto. Government of New Brunswick, Government Services Fredericton, New Brunswick. Government of British Columbia, Government Services Victoria, British Columbia. Government of Saskatchewan, Government Services Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Gowling WLG, Canada, LLP, Consulting and Accounting Ottawa, Ontario. Grant Thornton Canada, Consulting and Accounting Toronto, Ontario. Guelph General Hospital, Healthcare Guelph, Ontario. H&M, Hennes and Moritz, Clothing Toronto, Ontario. H&R Block, Business Services and Supplies Calgary, Alberta. Halifax Regional Municipality, Government Services Halifax, Nova Scotia. Hallmark Cards, Packaged Goods Toronto, Ontario. Halton, Regional Municipality of, Government Services Halton, Ontario. Hamilton Health Sciences, Healthcare Hamilton, Ontario. Hatch, Consulting and Accounting Mississauga, Ontario. Health Canada/Santé Canada, Healthcare Ottawa, Ontario. Hershey, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Mississauga, Ontario. Hilton, Travel and Leisure Mississauga, Ontario. Holt Renfrew, Retail and Wholesale Toronto, Ontario. Home Depot, Retail and Wholesale Scarborough, Ontario. Home Hardware, Retail and Wholesale St. Jacobs, Ontario. Honda Canada, Automotive, Automotive and Suppliers, Markham, Ontario. HSBC Holdings, Banking and Financial Services Vancouver, British Columbia. Hydro One, Utilities Toronto, Ontario. Hydro-Quebec, Utilities Montreal, Quebec. IA Financial Corporation, Insurances Quebec, Quebec. IBM, IT, Internet, Software and Services Markham, Ontario. IKEA, Retail and Wholesale Burlington, Ontario. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, Government Services Toronto, Ontario. Imperial Oil, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Sarnia, Ontario. Intact Financial, Insurances Toronto, Ontario. Intel, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology Hardware and Equipment Vancouver, British Columbia. Intercontinental Hotels Group, Travel and Leisure Toronto, Ontario. IWK Healthcare, Healthcare Halifax, Nova Scotia. Jazz Aviation, Transportation and Logistics Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Jewish General Hospital, Healthcare Montreal, Quebec. Johnson & Johnson, Packaged Goods Guelph, Ontario. Keg Steakhouse and Bar, Restaurants Richmond, British Columbia. Keller Williams Realty, Business Services and Supplies Toronto, Ontario. Cowrig Canada, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Burlington, Massachusetts. KPMG Canada, Business Services and Supplies Toronto, Ontario. Kraft Heinz Company, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco, Chicago, Illinois. Kruger Products, Packaged Goods Mississauga, Ontario. Lactalis Canada, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Toronto, Canada. Lassonde, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Rougemont, Quebec. Laval University, Education Quebec, Quebec. Ledker Group, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Vancouver, British Columbia. Life Labs, Healthcare Equipment and Services Toronto, Ontario. Linda, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Mississauga, Ontario. Liquor Distribution Board of Ontario, LCBO, Retail and Wholesale Toronto, Ontario. Longo Brothers Fruit Markets, Retail and Wholesale Vaughan, Ontario. Lodo Quebec, Travel and Leisure Montreal, Quebec. Loyalty One, Business Services and Supplies Toronto, Ontario. Lululemon Athletica, Clothing Vancouver, British Columbia. M. Packaged Goods St. Paul, Minnesota. Mac Cosmetics, Packaged Goods Toronto, Ontario. Mace Wan University, Education Edmonton, Alberta. Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries, Retail and Wholesale Winnipeg, Manitoba. Manitoba Hydro, Utilities Winnipeg, Manitoba. Manitoulin, Group of Companies, Transportation and Logistics Gore Bay, Ontario. Manulife, Insurances Toronto, Ontario. Maple Leaf Foods, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco, Mississauga, Ontario. Marriott Hotels, Travel and Leisure, Mississauga, Ontario. McCain Foods, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco, Toronto, Ontario. McGill University, Education Montreal, Quebec. McKesson, Healthcare Equipment and Services St. Laurent, Quebec. McMaster University, Education Hamilton, Ontario. MDA, Aerospace and Defence Richmond, British Columbia. Medavie Blue Cross, Insurances Moncton, New Brunswick. Medtronic, Healthcare Equipment and Services Brampton, Ontario. Memorial University of Newfoundland, Education St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Mercedes-Benz Canada, Automotive and Suppliers, Toronto, Ontario. Michaels Stores, Retail and Wholesale Brampton, Ontario. Michelin North America, Canada, Automotive and Suppliers, Greenville, South Carolina. Microsoft, IT, Internet, Software and Services, Mississauga, Ontario. Miller Group, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals, Markham, Ontario. Molson Coors Brewing, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco, Toronto, Ontario. Moneris, Banking and Financial Services, Etobicoke, Ontario. Moxie's Grill and Bar, Restaurants, Calgary, Alberta. National Bank of Canada, Banking and Financial Services, Montreal, Quebec. NAV Canada, Transportation and Logistics, Ottawa, Ontario. Nestle, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco, Toronto, Ontario. Newmont Corporation, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals, Vancouver, British Columbia. Nike, Clothing, Toronto, Ontario. Nokia, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology, Hardware and Equipment, Ottawa, Ontario. Nova Scotia Community College, Education, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia Health Authority, Healthcare, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation, Government Services, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Nutrien, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Ontario Teachers Pension Plan, Banking and Financial Services, Toronto, Ontario. Ontario Power Generation, Utilities, Toronto, Ontario. Open Text, IT, Internet, Software and Services, Waterloo, Ontario. Oracle, IT, Internet, Software and Services, Mississauga, Ontario. Ottawa Hospital, Healthcare, Ottawa, Ontario. Ottawa Carleton District School Board, Education, Nepean, Ontario. Paladin Security, Business Services and Supplies, Vancouver, British Columbia. PCL Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals, Edmonton, Alberta. PepsiCo, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco, Mississauga, Ontario. PetSmart, Retail and Wholesale, Burlington, Ontario. Pfizer, Drugs and Biotechnology, Kirkland, Quebec. PharmaSave, Retail and Wholesale, Langley, British Columbia. Pharmascience, Drugs and Biotechnology, Montreal, Quebec. Porter Airlines, Transportation and Logistics, Toronto, Ontario. PPG, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals, Concord, Ontario. Pratt & Whitney, Aerospace and Defense Longueuil, Quebec. PricewaterhouseCoopers, Consulting and Accounting Toronto, Ontario. Princess Auto, Retail and Wholesale Winnipeg, Manitoba. Providence Healthcare, Healthcare Vancouver, British Columbia. Provincial Health Services Authority, Healthcare Vancouver, British Columbia. Public Services and Procurement Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Public Service Commission of Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Purolator, Transportation and Logistics Mississauga, Ontario. Queen's University, Education Kingston, Ontario. Randstad, Business Services and Supplies Toronto, Ontario. RBC, Banking and Financial Services Toronto, Ontario. Max Integra, Business Services and Supplies Denver, Colorado. Regional Municipality of York, Government Services York, Ontario. Rexall, Retail and Wholesale Mississauga, Canada. Rio Tinto, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Montreal, Quebec. Rogers Communications, Telecommunications Services Toronto, Ontario. Royal Dutch Shell, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Calgary, Alberta. Ryerson University, Education Toronto, Ontario. Samsung Electronics, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology Hardware and Equipment Mississauga, Ontario. Sanofi, Drugs and Biotechnology Laval, Quebec. SAP, IT, Internet, Software and Services Toronto, Ontario. Saputo, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Montreal, Quebec. Saskatchewan Health Authority, Healthcare Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. SASKTEL, Telecommunications Services, Cable Supplier Regina, Saskatchewan. Schneider Electric, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology Hardware and Equipment Mississauga, Ontario. Scotiabank, Banking and Financial Services Toronto, Ontario. Sephora, Retail and Wholesale Montreal, Quebec. Shared Health, Healthcare Winnipeg, Manitoba. Sheridan College, Education Oakville, Ontario. Shopify, IT, Internet, Software and Services Ottawa, Ontario. Shoppers Drug Mart, Retail and Wholesale Toronto, Ontario. Sick Kids, Healthcare Toronto, Ontario. Siemens, Engineering, Manufacturing Oakville, Ontario. Simon Fraser University, Education Burnaby, British Columbia. Sinai Health System, Healthcare Toronto, Canada. Sleeman Breweries, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Guelph, Ontario. Sony, Semiconductors, Electronics, Electrical Engineering, Technology Hardware and Equipment Toronto, Ontario. St. Mary's General Hospital, Healthcare Kitchener, Ontario. Stantec, Consulting and Accounting Edmonton, Alberta. Starbucks, Restaurants Toronto, Ontario. Stekeman Elliott, Consulting and Accounting Toronto, Ontario. Subway, Restaurants Milford, Connecticut. Sun Life Financial, Banking and Financial Services Toronto, Ontario. Suncor Energy, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Calgary, Alberta. Sunnybrook Health Sciences Centre, Healthcare Toronto, Ontario. Syncrude, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Calgary, Alberta. Cisco, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Toronto, Ontario. Tangerine, Banking and Financial Services Toronto, Ontario. TC Energy, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Calgary, Alberta. TD Bank Group, Banking and Financial Services Toronto, Ontario. Tech Resources, Construction, Oil and Gas Operations, Mining and Chemicals Vancouver, British Columbia. TELUS, Telecommunications Services, Cable Supplier Vancouver, British Columbia. Tetra Tech, Consulting and Accounting Edmonton, Alberta. Thales, Aerospace and Defence Toronto, Ontario. The Rosedale Group, Transportation and Logistics Delta, British Columbia. The Source, Retail and Wholesale Toronto, Ontario. The Cooperators, Insurances Guelph, Ontario. Thomson Reuters, Media and Advertising Toronto, Ontario. TJX Companies, Retail and Wholesale Mississauga, Ontario. Toronto Hydro, Utilities Toronto, Ontario. Toronto Transit Commission, Transportation and Logistics Toronto, Ontario. Toyota Motor Manufacturing Canada, Automotive and Suppliers, Cambridge, Ontario. Transport Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Treasury Board of Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Ubisoft, Media and Advertising Montreal, Quebec. Unity Health Toronto, Healthcare Toronto, Ontario. Université de Sherbrooke, Education Sherbrooke, Quebec. Université de Montréal, Education Montreal, Quebec. University of Victoria, Education Victoria, British Columbia. University of Guelph, Education Guelph, Ontario. University of New Brunswick, Education Fredericton, New Brunswick. University of Waterloo, Education Waterloo, Ontario. University Health Network, Healthcare Toronto, Ontario. University of Manitoba, Education Winnipeg, Manitoba. University of Windsor, Education Windsor, Canada. University of Alberta, Education Edmonton, Alberta. University of British Columbia, Education Vancouver, British Columbia. University of Toronto, Education Toronto, Ontario. Vancouver Coastal Health, Healthcare Vancouver, British Columbia. Veterans Affairs Canada, Government Services Ottawa, Ontario. Via Rail Canada, Transportation and Logistics Montreal, Quebec. Vaughan Canada, Healthcare Ottawa, Ontario. Waste Management, Utilities Brampton, Ontario. Vawensa Insurance, Insurances Winnipeg, Manitoba. Wendy's, Restaurants Oakville, Ontario. Western University, Education London, Ontario. Weston Foods, Food, Soft Beverages, Alcohol and Tobacco Etobicoke, Ontario. Wilfrid Laurier University, Education Waterloo, Ontario. Wyndham Destinations, Travel and Leisure St. John, New Brunswick. York Region District School Board, Education Aurora, Ontario.